I guess that's fine.
Second life on a fire. But that's impossible.
Really? Whatever. Yeah, not bad, I guess. It's pretty good.
I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Those designs look really, really bland. Oh god. Okay, so I'm a little surprised that it's 16, but like, man, that kind of looks less interesting than 15, at least like character design wise. Spider-Man just takes it.
We're after the new form. Ignore everything else.
Oh, okay, so she's like Dr. Octopus or something, kinda. That's a bad idea. But I guess it doesn't matter. Like, he's just like shooting electricity around like a crazy. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Spider-Man's fault. Yeah.
Keep him busy.
That bridge is coming down.
That's some killer music there.
Stop this.
Sheesh. That's a little overpowered, huh? Batman? Oh, wait. Oh. Harry Potter. Huh. That's weird.
To your own magical ability
It looks pretty good.
in the classroom.
I mean, I don't know if I'd play it though.
Most talented
I mean, if it doesn't star Harry Potter, then
journey begins
I have to wonder how good it'd be based on the other Harry Potter stuff that doesn't involve Harry. What the heck are those? Did you see those eyes? Oh my gosh.
a larger world
Sheesh.
beyond these walls,
Is this an anime now?
filled with dangers
Sheesh.
you can't yet.
And zombies, really?
An ancient
Andrek, creative director at Raven. One of our goals as developers is to bring the game world to life unlike anything you've ever experienced.
Oh.
PlayStation 5 is making
Oh.
it. With the power of the new console.
Oh, cool. Another new trailer, huh? Already. Hopefully a release date, though. Man, so far it's just a lot of the same stuff. Is that it? Is that really it?
If it's
Okay.
just looking, window shop away.
Oh, it's just a merchant. Okay. I mean, okay. 2021. We really need more info than that. I guess late 2021. Oh gosh, I hate this game.
And you just ran out of time. You keep forgetting, Colt.
Yeah,
I'm not
just
like those
idiots. Didn't learn anything new.
Only got one name on my list.
I guess I'll have to hear from other people how good or whatever this is. I mean, it's kind of like Hitman, I guess. I don't know how the time loop part. I mean, it feels like it's just one level in Hitman, kinda, except with multiple targets. Okay. Devil May Cry, Virgil? Yeah, Virgil.
Positions were switched.
Okay, okay.
Would our fates be different? Would I have your life? And you mine? You a demon?
Alright, finally. Feels like it's 6 months late. Oh gosh, this music's amazing. Sheesh. I just wish that there was going to be more story, but I just don't see that happening. But yeah, still, this is great. But when?
Devil May Cry.
I wonder when it releases, though. Okay, digitally? I'd prefer a physical version, but okay. That's really cool. Oh, okay, cool. Some gameplay, nice. I mean, it'll probably be all stuff that I've seen kinda before, but you know, I still appreciate it though. So far, it seemed a little too linear though, and like you're one-shotting every enemy. That seems kind of weird. But again, I haven't played the original Demon's Souls, so maybe like the beginning of the game might be like that. Maybe. I think his eyes might be brighter than they were last time, because I remember the people complaining about his eyes not being as bright, and like the original design was like a little more interesting looking. But I don't know, but I think that in the original one his eyes glowed like white though, not yellow. Whatever. This is all getting nitpicky. Nice. Yeah, that looks real good. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely getting the one with the disc. Yeah. But yeah, I'm assuming it's... I was predicting it was going to be like 450 to 500 for that one. And I don't know, the other one would be like $50 or $100 less. Probably $100 less, just because $50 wouldn't be much. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. Yeah, also what I expected. I like how it just says rest of the world, but okay. God of War, I assume. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that's gonna come out within the next year, maybe a year and a half, so I'm not too surprised. Not too surprised at all. But I doubt we're gonna get gameplay. Just gonna be the logo and that's it, huh? Just Ragnarok, yeah, whatever. But I wonder if there will be like a time skip where the boy is a bit older. I would assume so, but I don't know. He's God. He ages differently, maybe. Okay, that's vague. Okay. That conference sure was amazing. Gotta give credit to Sony. They really hammered home that they were better in every way compared to the other consoles. But I just wanted to take this time to kind of just go over the whole year of gaming real quick. As we just saw, this is pretty much everything Sony's going to be doing for the next, perhaps even one whole year. You know, we'll see some updates at E3 next year, hopefully. But for the most part, you know, that's pretty much every game that you can expect from them. First party, of course. Third party, you never know what's going to come around the corner. But then you have like something like, you know, right there they showed Resident Evil 8 and how they don't even know when that's going to be coming out. I think that's a good thing, you know. I definitely wanted a release date, but I also wanted them to only show it off when it was close to getting completed. Obviously, the situation of 2020 is such that their plan was probably the same as when they released RE7, which was show it off around E3 and then release it in January. But obviously, those plans are probably greatly hindered. And then you have Devil May Cry 5, which can be argued that it got delayed, but I don't know about that, since it should have been probably ready by March or April, unless they're doing some weird schedule thing, because, like, again, Devil May Cry 5 released in March of 2019, or was it April? But you know, within a month or two, they had to have known, okay, we're going to be doing Virgil. And that shouldn't have taken more than like 6 months, considering all they're going to be adding is Virgil, all his moves playable in every level. Hopefully every character will be playable in every level. I mean, if Virgil's going to be just hanging out wherever, then you'd think that any character could just hang out wherever. I suppose that we don't know about how much Lady and Trish might be in the game, but I think it's a bit much to hope that them two would also be playable. Not to mention, of course, that even if they were playable, I'd prefer if there was a few more bosses. The best we could hope for, I think, would just be a bonus boss at the end of the game. But we'll see. Everything with Virgil was pretty much flawless, including, of course, his theme song and his style, and yeah, you know. Can't wait for Devil May Cry 6, but yeah, who knows what the plans for that are, since I heard that the director, Itsuno, isn't interested, I believe, in doing another one. I believe he's interested in doing Dragon's Dogma, maybe. And then we have Harry Potter. That was a surprise. I'll be shocked if that doesn't sell new systems just on its own. But to be fair, I researched a little bit, and it looks like a lot of these games are going to be available on the PlayStation 4. And, you know, that's enough reason for some people just not to even bother with the PS5. But in my opinion, there's more than enough stuff here to want to play on the new console. You know, it's supposed to run better. It's supposed to, you know, just have new features. Obviously, financial situations are probably going to be the big deciding factor, but, you know, $500 might sound like a lot, but I would just like to mention that to most people that would be about 1 week's paycheck. So it's not that ridiculous, assuming that you're getting a regular paycheck. Next we have Spider-Man. Again, it's going to be on PS4, but I'm just wondering whether it's going to be 20 hours or not. That's probably my biggest question. Also, I wasn't a fan of the villain either, unless they're going to be somehow connected to Dr. Octopus, which wouldn't even be that surprising, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if that's even that engaging of a villain, but you never know. And then, of course, we have the biggest reveal by far, which is 16. Now, this is a very, very bizarre thing. Partly because I knew it was coming, kinda, because the studio that made Final Fantasy 15, they became like a giant division after 15 had ended. And there was just tons of plans being made, even though the first director or the chief in charge of that division ended up leaving soon after. I really liked that guy. I don't remember his name at the moment, but you know, he was a really good guy. But I assume it's that studio that's making Final Fantasy 16. Which is also interesting because I found out that the director is the development supervisor of, or one of them, of Final Fantasy 14. Of course, it's, you know, really big, really successful, really interesting Final Fantasy game and MMO in general, and it's just, you know, it's exploding in popularity. But I wanted to see what else he had done, and he hasn't really been a director pretty much at all, except for a game called The Last Remnant. And if you go to The Last Remnant, the first thing you'll see is the cover art, which is a character that looks oddly familiar, and some gameplay, which also kind of is reminiscent of a little bit of the trailer that we just saw. So he's kind of just doing the same thing over again, which makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not really a big fan of Final Fantasy XIV's style of world. The greater world design is definitely very interesting, but the actual local cities and economy and, you know, that type of stuff, Not very interesting. To be fair, that's kind of common to MMOs, but it's even less interesting since, for the most part, most of the world is pretty peaceful in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm sure it didn't start that way, but I'm just saying, like, they don't have giant race wars like they do in World of Warcraft. So things being relatively peaceful between a lot of races is a little less interesting. And then you have what we saw in Final Fantasy XVI, which is that it's questionable whether we're even going to have other races, which is a big letdown if we don't. Oh my gosh. I mean, that was probably the biggest problem with Final Fantasy 15. Like, pretty much everything was good design-wise with that game. Obviously, could have been tweaked a bit here and there, but not having human races is what makes some of the best Final Fantasy games so good, such as, of course, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy IX, and even Final Fantasy VII as well. So it's very bizarre, but they're going for an old style knight fighting type thing. They're going for an old style knight in medieval times type of thing, and you see the summons in there. It's too hard to say what's going to happen here, because like we only saw one character, and usually Final Fantasy has more than one playable character, and of course Final Fantasy 15 even did. So this all makes me think either we're just starting to ramp up some footage of Final Fantasy 16, or, in my opinion, they're very far away from development. They're very far away from releasing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up releasing in 2022. But, I'm sure they're going to say 2021. Maybe they didn't even show a date at all, not even to the press or something. Something worth mentioning, though, is it did say PlayStation console exclusive, which is very interesting since I thought that Square Enix was wildly successful when they released Final Fantasy 15 on Xbox and PlayStation. So is Xbox kneeling out and allowing maybe their PC to pick up the slack in Japan? That's my best guess. That's just a quick Xbox jab right there, because I saw the whole Xbox debacle. And of course, they haven't shown any of their big new projects that they supposedly have under wraps. We'll see one of these days, I'm sure, but of course there's Fable that they just showed off that, for all we know, is years and years away from development. Of course, they have the acquisitions of Double Fine Productions, which is kind of bizarre since they were still smack in the middle of releasing Psychonauts 2. But, who knows what their next game could possibly be. But then there's also the acquisition of Ninja Theory. That game, I wouldn't be surprised if we're basically 2 years out from. That was Hellblade Senua 2 or whatever. But, they only showed like a CGI trailer. But I'm still going to say like 2 years out. That's not too bad, but again, they got all the new studios they wanted to way too late than they should have. Because like most of their acquisitions were in like 2018. Like Undead Labs, which is the creator of State of Decay, that their next game might be also 2 years out, if not longer, since they're not that big of a studio either. And then, of course, we have Obsidian Entertainment, which is by far their biggest get. But then at the same time, they also just released a game, and it was on a whole bunch of platforms. So it makes you wonder, are all these studios that they got going to be Xbox exclusive, or are they going to just get the money from selling to everybody? But if they do that, Xbox might as well be dead, because there's hardly anything appealing about them if they don't have any games that you can only play on Xbox. So who knows what's going to go with that? Who knows where that's going to go? Now, it's been a few days now, And I also found out about a big news from Nintendo. It was announced by Nintendo that they are discontinuing the creation of their 3DS handheld consoles. It's really crazy that this is happening only at this point, but you know, I'm all for it. Whether they're going to just go all in on Switch development, or if that means that they're going to, or maybe that means they're going to make a new handheld console. But to be fair, that seems very unlikely, because normally you stop making one console after the next console has already been released. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see what their plans are. They've got so many games in development right now. They pretty much can only go up from here. But of course, as far as technical fidelity, there's not much more they can be expected to do. Not that they need to worry about that. So yeah, in short, PlayStation's primed and ready to go. There's tons of great games coming out, you know, on every side except Xbox. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. But thank you so much for watching this video. And I tried to stream this on my Twitch channel. Here you go. There's my Twitch channel. But, you know, didn't work out. Always working on improving my technology, of course. Support me at Patreon. And again, thanks for watching. Have a good day.